Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Matt Madness Wrestling Podcast. My name is Ron Pashery, columnist for TJRWrestling.net, representing with the TJR Wrestling t-shirt. You can pick them up, I believe, on Pro Wrestling Tees. You can find them on the website, TJRWrestling.net. Here once again with my good friend Alo, Aaron Lloyd, my good friend C. King Joe Rottermill.
Just straight repping.
Hot Rod's back.
I'm not carrying gear, just straight repping.
This is our go-home show for Extreme Rules.
Go home, Eric.
You don't have to stay here.
Eric can stay as long as he likes. Our other co-host sat in for our Throwback Madness. He's going to hang out for a little bit with us here tonight.
Best thing this show's got.
For anyone who has not been watching from the beginning, our Cena swear jar. $1 gets thrown in there every time the word...
Technically, can we say Cena again, or is that like...
No, we can say that
Hey,
name.
more dollars. Come on.
Yeah, the Cena swear jar, I guess, is officially over.
The Cena name is lifted.
Yes. The Cena swear jar was for the intense purpose of any time the name John Cena was said, the person who said it threw $1 into the jar. And when we got up enough money, it was going towards Eric buying a John Cena spinner belt. He is on the verge of finally acquiring the John Cena spinner belt.
Now, what if we contribute $1 for every episode of Raw or SmackDown that Sasha Banks doesn't get a proper
We'd be broke.
storyline?
I would have enough money for the women's championship at this point.
Does up, down, down kind of a storyline?
I mean, we can put $1 every show we do until she gets a proper storyline.
It doesn't count because that was a commercial.
Oh, okay.
Commercial for Pizza Hut.
John Cena.
So next week, I'm assuming the Cena swear jar will be something different. So I don't know what it's going to be yet. I guess we'll have to discuss that amongst ourselves.
Stay tuned.
And what the prize will be at the end of it.
The
But
Ronnie Mullet Fund.
on a show soon, we will have the Cena spinner belt displayed prominently behind us. So, Extreme Rules coming up this Sunday. I find Extreme Rules to be an odd show to have in the PG era because you can't bleed, you can't hit anybody over the head with stuff. It's kind of not quite Extreme Rules, I guess.
Well, you could have straitjackets.
You can have straitjackets. You can have
So.
a match in an asylum, which we'll get to.
Oh.
I also don't like the 3-week build.
I like 3-week builds because
Do you?
they have to actually make things make sense.
See, I just think that I don't know, there wasn't enough time for some stuff, I feel like.
I think everything got built perfectly.
Well, I'm glad that you liked it more than I did.
Yeah, well, the thing is, with the build,
Touche.
a lot of these matches are rematches. So the build's already been there for prior.
So
For the
you're
most
saying
part.
that stuff did not need to be built.
It didn't have to be built much because a lot of these matches are rematches from Payback.
See, I like the transition from WrestleMania to Payback a lot more than I've liked the transition from Payback to Extreme Rules. But I am looking forward to Extreme Rules. Main event, AJ Styles challenging once again for the World Heavyweight Championship against Roman Reigns.
I'm looking forward to that. Should be a solid match.
Yes, Raw opened with AJ Styles cutting a promo, which you don't see too often.
With the club.
Yeah, the Roman Reigns comes out and interrupts. I did like Roman telling AJ, because AJ made the point that I don't need help. I've won championships everywhere I've gone. Roman comes out and says, whatever you did didn't matter. This is the championship. So everything you did before now doesn't really matter. And you're not going to win this from me. How did you feel about the opening segment, AJ and Roman going toe-to-toe on the microphone?
I liked it. I mean, I'm starting to feel a little more... I remember last time we talked about this before the last pay-per-view, I didn't feel it was in the proper build. And I'm feeling a little more into this storyline, this title fight. AJ said it, I get it. You're the guy. You're the guy I'm going to beat.
I love that when he stole his catchphrase.
Oh, me too. He mocked it, added his own little disclaimer on the end of it. Roman came back with, this is an Extreme Rules match. If I want to throw you through a table, I will. If I want to hit you with a chair, I will. I can and I will beat your ass at Extreme Rules.
Yeah.
So I like the aggressiveness of Roman. Not joking around, not smiling, no play. To steal a phrase from Dana Brooke, playtime is over.
Playtime is over.
When it comes to Roman Reigns. I like this incarnation of Roman Reigns. The crowd doesn't quite seem to be on board yet. I don't know if they ever will be.
The boos aren't as...
Yeah, they're not the same.
There's
not as...
A lot of what chants during AJ's section of the promo, which kind of bothered me. Isn't that a guy everybody's supposed to like?
Yeah.
And you do the what chant to the guy?
They were kind of mixed on what they wanted.
Yeah, because they even booed AJ when he hit the Styles Clash on Reigns.
Yeah. Well, so that we'll get to. There was the rematch from SmackDown, Gallows and Anderson against the Usos. Surprised the Usos went over. I did not expect that to happen. I feel like they should have allowed Gallows and Anderson to look stronger for a longer period of time.
Well, usually when you do that, it's going to lead to something else down the road.
I feel like the Usos have been such a throwaway for so long, and now all of a sudden they're beating the new tag team that comes in that's supposed to be so dominant.
Well, they're getting revitalized because you got the club versus the bloodline.
The bloodline.
Oh,
yeah.
God.
Not a fan of the bloodline?
No. Just no.
Sounds like a bad vampire movie.
AJ finally gets to use the chair. Hits Roman, I believe 3 times with it.
Mm-hmm.
Then hits the Styles Clash on the chair. And like you said, crowd did not respond favorably to it. Why do you think the crowd did not cheer that?
I think the crowd was confused. I don't know why.
Is the crowd just having a hard time following the supposed babyface against the supposed babyface angle?
Yeah, because eventually you have to boo somebody. You know, Roman really might not be seen as a babyface, but he's technically a babyface, and despite what people say, he is getting better reactions as they go. JBL had a line when in the opening segment when he came out. He says, "Listen to the ovation for Roman Reigns. You might not like him, but people have a passion for him." That's how people feel about Roman Reigns. Now the promo is excellent. It was short and simple. Roman was saying, "Look, it doesn't matter where you've been. This is the champion. This is the championship." They kept it short and simple. My problem is, leading up to Payback, Anderson and Gallows, they kind of overshadowed the match for Payback, but there hasn't been any character development since then. Like, you never see them cutting any promos. You just see them backstage hyping up AJ a little bit. You don't ever hear them have promos by themselves or do anything else except back up AJ. Same thing with the Usos. They do the same thing. And then you can't have any excitement to these types of matches, including those guys, without having any character development.
No, is it a possibility that AJ's getting some of this negative feedback being associated with the crew? With the club? With the boys?
It's possible.
But I don't think so, because the people nowadays, most people, they kind of know who the club is, like Gallows and Anderson. They know, they put over where they're from and how they're from New Japan. And then another thing I liked was AJ and Roman, they wouldn't touch. But when Gallows pushed Reigns into AJ lost it. He finally got that edge you want out of one of these guys, because these guys wouldn't touch each other. They would build up intensity and frustration with each other, but they wouldn't touch. But it was a great seeing AJ finally get that intensity side. And we finally get to see a Styles Clash after how many weeks, and now it puts heat on AJ. It gives Roman heat against AJ.
It does. I think we are all pretty certain that AJ is not going to win this title on Sunday.
No, but I don't think it's going to be the end of the story either. I think we're going to see this storyline continue on at least one more pay-per-view.
I hope it does, because see, if it does go one more, then I feel like AJ might need to get a win over him.
Yeah.
Granted, he did technically beat him twice in their last match. The match didn't end. He lost the one that counted. So technically he's up 2-1 on Roman now. But I just am not a big fan of Gallows and Anderson losing to the Usos. I know they're trying to make the Usos relevant, but you got something new, something you're trying to make important, and you're just making it a little bit less important than it should be.
Well, like I said, usually when they do that before the pay-per-view, it ends up being the other way around come pay-per-view. So, I mean, I don't know. We'll see.
So before we move on to the next thing, AJ Styles against Roman Reigns. Who wins this match?
You're up, bro.
Roman.
Roman?
I want to say Roman's going to retain the title, but I don't think it's going to be a clean win.
So you think Roman ultimately retains?
I think something's going to be hinky about it, but I think Roman retains the title. Because, like I said, I could see this going to the next pay-per-view. I don't know how they're going to do that quite yet, but I think they're going to have a third match.
I think Roman retains. I think Roman wins the match. Eric, you're in the building. You might as well make a prediction. AJ Styles or Roman Reigns?
Roman's going to win.
Our first ever off-camera prediction.
Here we go.
So everybody thinks Roman comes out of Extreme Rules with the title.
I'll go Roman too.
All right.
And I'll say the whole Roman AJ thing is done after this.
The other 8 people behind us
Guess
also
what?
say Roman.
Guess what? You're wrong.
So
The mark in the background spoken.
So our first 2 off-camera predictions.
We'll let the Muppets back.
Moving on now to the Women's Championship. I'll go to that next because it closed Raw.
Now we're talking.
The contract signing, which you don't get a lot for the women on the main roster anyway. Shane and Stephanie out in the ring. Rick comes out and introduces Charlotte himself. Shane introduces Natty. Really good heel promo, I thought, from Charlotte. Rick on fire last night.
He's feeling his home crowd.
Yeah, that place. I loved Charlotte saying, "I can do anything, and you will cheer me. I can say anything. I could punch all of your best friends in the face, and you'll still cheer for me."
I'd be excited. I'd be like, you punched me.
Because my last name is Flair. Obviously, it didn't go quite that way. And the added stipulation now of Charlotte forfeits her title if Rick even so much as walks down to the ring, which is what set Rick off in the first place. Did you like what we got from Ric Flair?
I loved it. I actually loved the promo because this is something small, but how many times do you actually get somebody looking over the contract?
Right.
You never get that. They usually just sign. And both Rick and Charlotte lost it. He's like, what's this? No, I'm not signing this. What's this? And then they made Charlotte have the option. You don't sign, you forfeit the title. I love that. Natty got her Brie Bella on in the first beginning of the promo, but Charlotte got a point. She was like, I'm a Flair. You're not going to hate me because I am a Flair. And Natty put over saying, you beat me for your first title at NXT. I'd rather be facing that woman instead of the woman you become. You become your father. And that's what Charlotte was acting. She was acting just like her father in her hometown.
How about you? Were you pleased with the contract signing? Were you pleased with Rick's performance last night?
I was loving Rick's performance. I love the contract signing. I mean, I think we're getting a little too McMahon heavy at times. But other than that, I liked the whole angle. I liked the way they're building the matchup. For those of you who don't know, now you know. We reviewed Judgment Day 2000 earlier, and watching some of these stipulations, like an Iron Man and a submission match, I was thinking that we have a lot of static right now, and I didn't know what to say about static, so I just said, "Yay!" No, but back to the point. We haven't had a lot of these good gimmick matches, like a submission match. Here we go. This pay-per-view, we're gonna have a women's submission match, and 2 of the best probably in the women's division at putting on submission moves. I think it'd be a great match.
Right. I did like that they got a contract signing. It makes it a little bit more important. Act 2 fly, ladies and gentlemen.
Cashing in.
He's going bowling.
You need a hand.
Take care. We'll talk to you soon.
Be careful, Ike. Drive carefully. Back to Kenny.
Shake that. But back to the title.
Big E out there.
Uh-huh.
I like the contract signing. Makes it a little bit more legitimate. Puts the women kind of at a higher level. I agree with Joe, a little McMahon heavy, but we got some great Ric Flair. Took a great bump on the slap
Oh my
from Stephanie.
God. That was amazing.
This segment and the show end with Charlotte being on the wrong end of a sharpshooter and Natty holding the title up over her head.
But I love how Charlotte tried to retaliate at Stephanie. You never see that often. It was natural reaction and it made sense. And now you just stopped in the track and hit the sharpshooter.
Right. Another thing I enjoyed was as Charlotte is walking back up the ramp and Natty's holding up the belt. Not angry, not yelling, but Charlotte saying, "You put that down." Like, you don't deserve. You put that down right now. She didn't go do anything about it. She wasn't yelling at us like how matter-of-factly she was telling her she had to put down the belt. I think this is going to be... All their matches are good, so I think this is going to be another good match from the 2 of them. Before we move on to the prediction from this, though, we'll talk a little bit more about the women. Emma and Becky were building a little bit of a program. Now, of course, Dana Brooke becomes a part of it, and Emma immediately gets hurt and goes out with back surgery.
I'm heartbroken.
So am I. I think it's a shame, and I think
she's starting to do some of her best work.
Yeah. She was finally getting to a really good spot on the main roster. Now, I guess Dana has to pick up where Emma left off.
And commentary pointed that out when Dana Brooke was making her entrance. How Emma got hurt at the live event on Sunday, and what does this mean for Dana Brooke? So they immediately mentioned it.
Yeah. So Dana Brooke I feel like it's a little bit polarizing. A lot of people can't stand her. A lot of people like me love her. One of the reasons I love her was when she was walking through the backstage and the nobodies backstage were all laughing and she comes up and starts laughing. The guy says, "It was funny." And he starts explaining. She goes, "Ew, don't you talk to me. Maybe if you had," what did she say? "Maybe if you had a new face, you worked out, and you wore clothes that made you look like you cared about life, you'd be the first person I'd call." And she still says, "No, I wouldn't." Goes out, wins the match. Becky now 2 straight losses to Dana Brooke. I'm assuming this is not going to be a match on the card. It hasn't been announced yet. I don't know if this is going to be ongoing. One of the things we thought was that Becky would be in need of a tag team partner.
But
I'm assuming that is not going to be needed now, which leads me to my next thing was, where is Sasha?
Well, my thing is, it's like this injury came out yesterday on Monday, right before Raw. They didn't know the severity of the injury or anything. So, like I said, I don't think Becky should be a stepping stone. I understand for her to beat Dana to beat Becky at least one time, but two shows in a row. She beat her dirty on SmackDown, which is fine, but you beat her clean as a whistle on Raw. So I think Sasha was supposed to be involved in this on Raw, but due to the Emma injury, they had to redo it,
which is a shame. I just think it's over a month now that she's actually done anything on Raw. You mentioned the dirt sheet story that they're just saving her for a bigger storyline later.
Duh.
One, of course, that's what they're doing. But two, you shouldn't be doing that. If somebody, you got to strike while the iron is hot.
Yeah.
And they don't do that nearly enough. Again, before the prediction, Joe Lafferty. Actually, no. You have a question from Joe Lafferty.
No.
I have a question from Ronald Glacier Lloyd.
Glacier Lloyd, huh?
He says, "I share the same opinion as John Canton, owner and proprietor of TJRWrestling.net, regarding Raw's main event. The entire thing is about Stephanie and probably Triple H returning. They have a good world and intercontinental title feud, but the end was still about Stephanie. Why, in your mind, did this go on last?" So that's the question. But before we get to the question, go ahead. I'm assuming this is specifically toward you. Go ahead. Paint your perfect scenario. Praise Triple H. Go ahead. I think it's stupid. This AJ Reigns thing could be the start of a very, very long feud. But apparently they are more worried about other things. So, why do you believe that went on last?
Well, sometimes, I'm not sure what was on TV last night. I know the Western Conference Finals was on. But I know sometimes they did this with the Charlotte and Paige thing, with their contract signing. They usually throw their main attraction match in the middle of Raw during around halftime-ish. I know they do that. But also, it was about the women too, but then it also builds Shane and Stephanie storyline. So,
what do you think? Why do you feel this went on last and was very McMahon heavy?
Well, I think they had this planned to again, they wanted to make sure this match that was seen beforehand, and then they want to throw the women out there to sort of build up that match, kind of close off the show with that, which they don't do that often. So I'm not a huge. I didn't really mind it that much. Again, a lot of people might fall asleep by 11.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
I'm going to just go with the simple scenario that obviously the McMahon story is not done. Shane and Stephanie are not going to just go on hand in hand running Raw.
No.
Until we're all, dead and gone. But I think the reason why it went on last, I'm starting to think that, and this is something that John Canton mentioned to me recently, that the last hour of Raw is just dropping viewers left and right. So I think they're getting into a habit of putting their main event in at the end of that second hour. I don't know if that's because they're saying, well, this is when the most people are watching.
Yeah.
Or if they're saying if we put it on at the turnover into the last hour, maybe more people will stick around.
A way to capture a little more viewers.
So, because if you remember maybe a month ago, I was saying Roman was buried in the middle of the show.
That's why.
That is why. I wasn't thinking of it in those terms at that point, but I do think we will see their biggest story at the end of the second hour, the beginning of the third hour. So
Sort of kicking off a whole new show almost.
Yes, and I do agree that they are very McMahon heavy, heavier than they need to be. But this is going to be a story.
Yeah, so they integrate the story with this. They are basically the bosses. They are the authority. So they're going to be involved in maybe the second most important storyline.
Right. I don't really have anything specifically to add about Shane or Stephanie this week. I do think that they seem to be getting along. There's like little hints that they're starting to get on each other's nerves a little bit. I think Shane actually has been a little bit too cocky recently.
There's been subtle digs.
Yeah, like he's really kind of full of himself right now.
You can see a couple times where we're out there like, yeah, that was a good idea, but my idea...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, your idea was good.
I believe we got a Stephanie chant last night.
But I love how Shane tried to protect Stephanie, and Stephanie being Stephanie just slapped Rick.
Yeah.
'Cause that's just natural Stephanie.
Yeah, she just doesn't care.
Yeah.
She'll slap anybody.
Yeah.
So, women's championship match at Extreme Rules.
Well,
You
first,
got something to add?
yes.
Yes.
This is part of the Sasha section of the show.
Okay.
This is the question from the babyface Ronald.
All right.
Oh, thank you, Ronald.
He says he asked, considering
2 Ronald Lloyd questions in one segment.
I know that's a record. All right, considering we haven't seen Sasha Banks in about a month, how would you book her going forward?
The first thing I would do is put her on TV.
First thing you do is put her in your bedroom.
I mean, hopefully that wouldn't be on Raw if that did happen, but I would put her on TV before we do anything else, because you can't do anything if she's not actually on the show. And I guess that the next logical thing is whatever happens in this Extreme Rules match, have her go immediately into the next Women's Championship storyline. If they want to do it at SummerSlam, I feel like you have to start now, or if not now, in the next 3 or 4 weeks. So that's my answer. Just put her immediately in a program with Charlotte starting at the Raw after Extreme Rules.
I like to see her come out and start stealing the show a little more. Like a la CM Punk a couple years back when he was coming out complaining about ice cream bars and all that, and just
so they need to have her
taking
come
what
out
he wanted
as a renegade.
Make her the boss. She's out and she's here. She's not getting enough time. She's going to take what she wants.
I think that's perfect. We've talked about that a lot, that she hasn't gotten to be the boss on the main roster.
A la Punk a couple years ago, have her be that kind of figure for the women's division.
I would love that.
Yeah, well, I remember last week I kind of booked this, but Emma got hurt, so I'm not sure if Dana and Becky's gonna still be a thing. But even if Sasha went against Becky, Becky has looked horrible in the last 2 weeks. So beating Becky wouldn't really mean anything for Sasha. So what I could probably see is maybe give Becky some more steam and have Sasha go against Natty, or maybe Sasha interfere in
Or
that.
you could have a call up that would fill that void that was left by Emma.
Who?
I don't know, Jax or
Ew.
Bailey?
Bailey wouldn't fit.
Nah. If you want to get some heel heat, you can call
Jax,
Bailey up.
maybe the Red Queen.
Oh, anybody.
man.
I know. I'm just throwing names out there.
She wouldn't get booed for that.
I'm throwing names out there that would fit
She
in
wouldn't
a
get booed
heel
for that.
form to make this a tag team match again.
But maybe she turns, like, since Emma got hurt, it may be hard for her to turn on Becky because Becky looks horrible at this point. Maybe she turns on Becky or Natty and then get Custer's promo saying the boss is back and I'm coming for this title. Because like I said, she's been undefeated on the main roster. She hasn't been pinned on the main roster since coming up last year in July. So I think she'll get a crack at Battleground. I think she loses that match and then she'll get her so-called moment at SummerSlam.
So we still got a little bit to wait.
Yeah.
Hang in there.
Yeah, I mean, at this point...
Yeah, we've been waiting this damn long.
What's a couple more weeks?
Yeah.
So, women's championship match. Charlotte, Natty, submission match. Who walks out of there the winner?
Charlotte.
Charlotte?
Yeah, I think Natty's just getting what she's owed, some face time on the main card. Ultimately, I think Charlotte's going to walk out with the title.
Charlotte.
I agree. Charlotte, she shows that she can stand on her own 2 feet, as Shane McMahon keeps putting it. I think it'll be a good match. I don't think there'll be... I don't know. I assume there's not going to be anything weird that happens, because I feel like that's the whole point of the stipulation. But who knows?
Yeah,
In agreement, Charlotte.
Yeah, and speaking of submission match, we just reviewed one on Throwback Madness of Judgment Day 2000. Chris Jericho and Chris Benoit for the Intercontinental Championship. There's something that happened in that match that something I feel like should have happened. Maybe an injured limb.
Yeah, going into it.
Yeah, going into it. So that could be like a bullseye. It could be a target
setup.
for a person to go after. And after a while, you just can't take the pain anymore.
Well, yeah, they don't do that anymore, though.
No, they don't. That was 16 years ago, damn it.
They don't plan ahead. They don't plan ahead. They don't tell their stories, over the long haul. So, who knows? Maybe something will happen on SmackDown. I'm assuming it's happening as we speak, or maybe it's even over already, but... So, moving on to the Intercontinental Fatal 4-Way match. The Miz keeping Kevin Owens' Intercontinental Championship warm, going up against Owens, Sami Zayn, and Cesaro. We had The Miz finally standing tall with his belt on SmackDown. On Raw, we had Zayn versus Cesaro saying, from the foul-up that happened on SmackDown when he accidentally gave him a haluva kick. Immediately, that match was nixed when a brawl erupted.
I would have been satisfied with just those few seconds of Owens and Miz on commentary together.
Yeah.
So first things first, KO speaking French to the Maurice.
That killed me.
Which was awesome. And then Owens, right before he stands up, saying, I don't care about this match and I can't be near you.
And then he said,
right before he attacked him.
And before that, he was like, you're a 5-time Intercontinental champion? That's sad.
That's sad.
He said, I've been in this company
That's
less than a
pathetic.
year and I've won it twice already. You've been doing this for 12 years.
And then he said, Cole said something about his frog splash. He said, it's called a bull frog splash. I was like, no, it's called a 6-star
The
frog
6-star frog splash was great. I thought that was a great line in a series of great lines for Kevin Owens.
I'd have been satisfied just with that.
Yes.
Would have, but it got
It got better.
Further. Yeah, it got better.
Somehow it got better.
But wait, there's more.
Shane comes out, makes it a tag team match. Owens and Miz against Cesaro and Zayn. Stephanie comes out right after and makes it even better.
Strange bedfellows.
Pairing up Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, which the crowd loved.
Awesome.
And I believe all of us viewers at home loved as well. Seeing those two team up. A lot of hard tags.
Oh, yeah. A lot of trash talking.
A lot of trash talking. I like that they were almost like they'd do something and look at the other guy like trying to one-up each other. But they were competing against each other from on the same team.
You could tell that they were having so much fun in that situation because their chemistry is amazing. So, oh my God, it was so good.
It was a good match. Both of them very entertaining. The haluva kick seals the victory for Owens and Zayn.
But I won too.
Yes. Kevin Owens,
I won too.
Kevin Owens hits the kick on Sammy, and yes, exclaims, I won too. As he's going up the ramp, he says, I won that match. I loved that every time Miz goes to the top rope now, Kevin Owens mocks him. Oh, you're such a great athlete. That's so impressive. I love that. That he just mocks him every time he climbs to the top rope. Because all he does is an axe handle smash from the top rope.
It's a devastating move.
Yes, I feel like Cesaro is kind of the forgotten man.
Yeah, he is.
In this.
He was good in it too, though. I mean, he was great wrestling. He ended up actually costing the match when he came in.
But the thing with this is his whole Cesaro 7 thing has gotten stale. Like it had so much. It had so much power to it.
He's not building on it. He's just coming out.
I think the power to it at the beginning was because he had just come back from being gone.
Yeah. Now it's all gone. It
wasn't the flame's
character.
Gone. It was just he's back.
Yeah, but the flame's gone. There's no spark to it. When I see Cesaro, I love Cesaro and all, but now it's like, I'd rather him go back to his
original. It's gone.
It is.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't sing random songs when you're drinking.
I'm good. No Heimlich needed. It was just water.
He's just eager to throw his tongue down someone's throat.
Yeah, he's very trigger happy on the Heimlich.
Very Heimlich ready.
Do you think there's any chance at all Cesaro walks out of this Intercontinental Championship? No.
Nope.
So it's not that they're throwing us off the scent at all?
No.
He's just floundering a little bit.
Yeah,
in the ring, he's great.
Yeah, he's great.
He's amazing.
In this situation, he's just there.
Those uppercuts are deadly.
Yeah. I have very high hopes for this match. I think it's going to be one of the high points of Extreme Rules, especially because it's not any type of hardcore stipulation.
Just a 4-way, and we have some good technical in-ring workers out there. We're obviously going to see some of the best wrestling of the night.
Who wins Kevin Owens Intercontinental Championship in the Fatal 4-Way at Extreme Rules?
I think it's Kevin Owens.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think he takes it.
Same as Zayn.
I really don't know. I'm going to go with Kevin Owens just on it's his Intercontinental Championship. I'd like to see him get it back.
2 out of 3, boy.
But I wouldn't be upset.
But think about
if Zayn won.
think about him whining
Oh,
if
I know.
Sami Zayn has it.
Well, that's the only thing I can see is maybe Sami Zayn costs Kevin Owens a title to keep that feud going. But I think ultimately Kevin Owens walks away with it.
I would love to see Kevin Owens just pissed and frustrated that Sami Zayn now has.
That's what I'm saying.
The last person he wants to have.
Exactly.
his
Exactly. That's what I see it as. And this match, no doubt, is going to be awesome because you got arguably your 3 top workers in the company. In the Miz, he's been putting on some great matches, the best matches he's had in a long time because he's been with these guys.
He's been a good heel.
Yeah.
Very good heel. So I'm going to go with Kevin Owens. Just that's who I want to see holding that belt again. But I would not be surprised at all if Sami Zayn wins. And I think they're the only 2 people that walk out of it with the title, though. Dean Ambrose versus Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho is still in the midst of some of his best work in years. I cannot get enough of the gift of Jericho. And
Drink
him
it in.
telling you, drink
it
it in. Drink it in, man.
Drink it in.
Can't get enough of that. Y2J obviously put him in the straitjacket on SmackDown. Dean obviously none too happy about it. Jericho is demanding an apology and his $15,000 back for his jacket that is more iconic than Andre the Giant.
I love that.
Belongs in the Smithsonian. And I love that he pointed out to Renee Young, that's a museum, by the way. Ambrose, of course, is not going to apologize.
He's going to do quite the opposite.
Does not seem willing to give him $15,000 either. But he did offer him a challenge at Extreme Rules, which Jericho accepted, saying he's the real lunatic. I'll show you how a lunatic acts. I'll show you what a lunatic does. Then we get the Asylum match.
Oh, dear.
What are your thoughts on the first ever Asylum match?
You mean the steel cage with the random stuff hanging up above
Yes.
it?
No, bro, no. Bro. It's a freaking asylum match, bro. The freaking straitjacket, bro.
And there's a leather whip up there of some sort, and
There's another ficus.
Oh, there was nunchucks.
Was it? What?
Could you find them in asylums?
Nunchucks.
Using
Mitch's
nunchucks?
brother was up there.
I think so.
Heavy dose of nunchucks in asylums.
There were nunchucks up there. I forget what else. Oh, there was a barbed wire 2x4.
Yeah.
I don't know. God only knows what else was up there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff up there. So does this match, is this decided by pinfall?
It's pinfall. There's no escape. You got
Or
to go by
would you
pinfall.
climb up there and you grab that stuff and you have to like.
That
use
I'm
it of some
assuming you
sort?
climb and you could use those weapons. That's what I'm assuming in this match.
That's what I was wondering. I assume it ends with somebody in the straitjacket.
Yeah, I assume Ambrose puts Jericho in a straitjacket. I do love the fact that that Ambrose touched that Jericho put him in a straitjacket on SmackDown,
Right.
and it triggered something because I've been saying for weeks this feud has been way too jokey, it's been way too comical, but this was actually serious. Dean
It got
Ambrose,
dark. It got dark.
It got real dark. Well, yeah, but the lights went out. When the
Oh, okay.
and the
yeah.
asylum is dark. It's
And
not,
the
it's not
borderline
silver.
Psycho Sid entrance music
Yeah.
that was playing.
Yeah,
made
and it kept
lower.
playing. Like,
Yeah, it didn't stop playing.
I thought it was at a grade school, like little.
So will they play that music throughout the match?
I wouldn't put it past them.
I think it's a requirement.
I wouldn't put it past them, but
in the asylum match, you gotta.
Yeah.
But this feud got more serious. It got what it needed, and Jericho's reaction to the cage coming down and Ambrose saying all this stuff, it was gold. So I think this match, it looks bizarre. It could be a good match.
My
A for effort.
well, it fits the character of Dean Ambrose.
Yeah.
But what was it? The street fight? I don't even remember what they called the WrestleMania match against Brock Lesnar anymore.
A no holds barred street fight.
Okay, I thought that fit the character of Dean Ambrose, and that clearly did not work out well. Hopefully this one works out better. I don't have super high hopes for it. Maybe this will be a big win for him. Maybe it'll be a big moment for him. Your point about Jericho's reaction, it was shades of Triple H's reaction.
Cactus Jack.
Yes. In one of the greatest promos of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Before that was just was that a street fight? I don't even.
It was a street fight.
When they were defining.
It's hard to tell what
It was
those
a street
matches
fight.
are supposed to be
when they were
called.
deciding what persona was going to fight. Triple
Yeah.
H.
I know you can, and I know you will. Yeah, Cactus Jack. That's what it sort of reminded me of.
Both times were awesome when he came back in 2002 because
Yeah.
it made sense. Triple H saw Cactus Jack and he referred back to that match.
Right.
Because he was the first person to see Cactus Jack in WWF.
Mm-hmm. So this match, like I said, I'm not holding out high hopes. I did like that Ambrose said, when you enter this asylum, you will never ever be the same again. He didn't go full Stephanie McMahon with it
Nah.
and say again, but
He made it his own with that crazy music playing in the background. You know, the a la 8th grade horror show.
he did. So 2 questions with this. Before we get to prediction, will this be a good match or will this just be silly?
I think it'll be both.
I'm thinking silly.
I've been fine with just being a plain cage match. It kind of is, but that stuff, like I said, I'm guessing you have to climb up to get that stuff. That uses weapons. That's what I'm guessing.
There's no point in it being there.
It's like someone's garage exploded.
It does kind of look like that. So, your prediction, Dean Ambrose or Chris Jericho?
Dean Ambrose puts Jericho in a straitjacket, hits him with the 2x4, wins the match.
Dean Ambrose
I got specific, bro.
Dean Ambrose puts Jericho in the straitjacket and hits him with Mitch's little brother.
You know what? That's good. Good logic there. Good continuity.
Exactly.
If the match ends with a ficus over the back, so I'm gonna also say Dean Ambrose. No reason for Chris Jericho to win. I don't even know how much longer he's going to be around on this.
But how does he win?
How does he win? I'm going to say the match ends with Chris Jericho in a straitjacket. I do believe that Mitch's brother will be involved, though, in the finish. If not the finish, he'll be involved in some way, shape, or form throughout the course of the match. Tag team, the New Day comes out to unveil their new time machine. They want to journey back to the bygone era
So
that
good.
the Vaudevillains never stopped talking about. They didn't go back far enough at first, as Kofi came out
I love
as
that.
the Jamaican sensation. I loved it too. I
I
thought it
want to
was great.
stay.
I thought it was great that he gave the promo in the voice, and I thought it was great that when they pulled it back, he said, "I want to stay here. 2009 was my best year."
It was.
I thought that was great. It was his best year till now.
But he was in the main event that year.
Was he? See, that's when I was not.
Yeah, he beat Randy Orton.
Okay,
RKO.
that was his only real significant feud, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then I don't know if you ever saw Randy getting the RKO and shouting out stupid at him. Have you ever seen that?
I did see that.
Yeah, and that's when he died. It was right after that.
So I love that. They come out with the mustaches on. The
Sort
Booyos
of.
were now derriere squares, which I loved. Xavier was very upset about what his smartphone had turned into. And then the Vaudevillains, of course, come out with the beatdown.
Yeah.
They've been made to look very strong in recent weeks. I like the Vaudevillains. I don't necessarily view them as a threat, even though they've been built that way. But I think this is going to be a fun match.
Mm-hmm.
2 teams with 2 very different styles. I'm very anxious to see the Vaudevillains get a full pay-per-view match, because obviously they didn't get to have one the last time.
Yeah. Messed that up a little bit.
So what are your thoughts on the Vaudevillains? We mentioned last week that we think that they are flourishing on the main roster in a way they didn't in NXT.
Yeah, they didn't get a lot of time in NXT, in my opinion. I like their gimmick. I like it's unique to WWE. You don't have a lot of it in the storyline right now. I like them in ring. I didn't know how I was going to feel about them. So far, so good. They've impressed me, actually. So I think this will be a good match. Also, it's great to see them get some heat on them too. Come out and just jump New Day, not come out and try and exchange words or try and talk about beating by. They came out and rolled on them,
Right.
which is good for a heel tag
Yeah,
team.
their promo work has been very good when they've been doing promos. And they've been physically made to look like they belong in the ring with these guys, even though they've only been there for a month. Are you growing at all on the idea of New Day as baby faces, or no?
No.
No? Has it warmed up at all for you?
No.
Do you like what this feud has turned into? Do you like what they're doing with both teams?
Oh, yeah, no doubt, because when I heard the Vaudevillains even got called, I was like, the Vaudevillains? Really? Why? They did nothing. They were NXT Tag Team Champions, but you never heard them talk or anything like that. Go fast forward a month later, I become a big fan of Vaudevillains. They've gotten way more time to talk and do things. You would think that should have been happening in NXT. And they had so much character development within the month. They show so much attitude. They show a lot of charisma. Sable here?
No.
Okay. Yeah, but they've shown a lot. They've shown a lot to me. And for my prediction, I think the Vaudevillains win the tag team titles.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Only one
They've
question.
given them. They put so much emphasis on them. They gave them so much TV time and character development for a reason. And I think they win the tag team
I think
titles.
New Day keeps it for now, at least. My only question would be, if they didn't knock Enzo out, would we be staring at this match still at this pay-per-view?
I believe that the Vaudevillains were always going to win that tournament because I believe the plan was for the Dudleys to interfere.
Yeah, because they kept that.
It just didn't get to happen.
Yeah, because they still kept that that Dudley thing going right now at this point.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that the New Day retains. But before we move on, we have a few more tag team tidbits to get to. Primo and Epico.
Got their Dash and Dawson on. Silence.
These guys were around.
This is their third time repackaged.
Well, they were Los Matadores, right?
Yeah,
Yep, they were.
former tag team champions, but this is the third time they've been repackaged.
Well, they came around during the time when I was not watching. And anything that started and finished when I was not watching, I have no desire to see it all at this point.
They're good in-ring wrestlers, but I have no idea what their gimmick's supposed to be. I mean,
they're from Puerto Rico.
I get that.
Oh, they need more of a gimmick than where they're from? That's not enough?
The Shining Stars.
And the ring is Puerto Rico, and they're in the ring.
And they got a match against actual jobbers, which you don't see.
I know. I was like,
That's NXT.
You only see that, and they had jobbed for American Alpha on NXT.
That's NXT world right there.
So they actually got a real call up then.
Yes, they did. The Dudleys asked Shane and Stephanie for an easy match against some little guys from North Carolina. They don't give them any little guys. They give them a guy who is 7 feet tall in big Cass.
Can't teach that.
I love Cass calling D. You could say it. I'll give you. I know where you're going.
Hey, Devin.
And he called Devon Urkel of the Squared Circle. Loved it. Did I do that? Yeah, you did. He called Bubba Ray Fred Flintstone, and he made short work of Devon.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever, in a million years, especially when we were at NXT Brooklyn last year, when Enzo and Cass lost the tag team titles for seemingly the 100th time at almost any takeover in the last 6 months?
No, they were in that 8-man tag when we went to Brooklyn.
Right, no, I just mean over the course of the last year, as we've progressed. And we kept saying we wanted Enzo and Cass to come up. Did you ever see did you ever see Cass being as successful as a solo act as this fast?
Not this fast. I thought it would have been a long-term process because, like we said last week, he has more upside in the ring than Enzo does, and he'll be used more when the time comes because he's a bigger guy.
He's a Vince kind of guy.
Yeah, he can actually work. So I already knew he had more of an upside than Enzo, but due to Enzo's concussion, he's been had to go out there by himself and put on these good matches, and he's shown he's done everything. He's been out there on the mic. We kept saying his cadence was always slow, but he's fixed his cadence. His promos are solid. He's been great since Enzo's been going.
And I said this, you can go back full tape, even when I was first talking to him, he's probably one of the most athletic 7-footers I've seen in the ring.
Yeah, not many guys that compete. The Undertaker was super athletic when he first came up.
Yeah.
But yeah, not many guys that big that are that athletic.
Yeah.
So I'm not that I'm surprised that he's having success, because I always thought he was going to be really good and he had a lot of promise.
It's just how quick.
Yeah, quick.
Yeah,
because the injury mainly.
Immediately.
Yeah, because like you said, Stone Cold says you're so reliant on your tag team partner. So if your tag team partner goes out, you're going to be lost in the shuffle. It's like when when Jey Uso got hurt, Jim Uso was doing commentary on SmackDown until he got back.
Yeah. I was worried, not worried for Cass, but I felt bad for him.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you just get up there and now you're going to be on the back burner. And he's better off now than he was.
They kept that momentum going with him.
Yeah. So I'm glad they're giving him that opportunity, and it's good to see somebody get the opportunity and, pick up the ball and run with it.
A
few more tidbits for Extreme Rules.
Hold up. You're forgetting about the love story that's built in Twilight. The golden truth.
I did not want to talk about it, but do you want to?
Tyler Breeze got 3 wins in a row. That's all I'm happy about.
The DACA on a little winning streak.
With Fandango.
Is it Brazongo, right?
We can't get Sasha Banks on the show, but we get a 2-minute or 3-minute vignette on the story that's taking place over 5 months.
And the match.
The whole story.
And a backstage promo after
the match was shorter than the whole promo.
The thing is, I mentioned earlier about striking when the iron is hot. Golden Truth I thought was funny for about 4 weeks. Mm-hmm. And then it was like, all right, when are you going to do this? This does not need this kind of build. Now we're about 15 weeks into it.
5 months.
And you get it, and then this happens.
Well, you get it, and when you didn't even really want it, and I don't even know why the crowd was that into it. I guess it's like, okay, finally they did it. Yeah, they lose. They need to work out the kinks. Is this a long-term thing?
Don't be like that.
Nah.
Don't be like that.
No.
Does R-Truth, the selfie stick is gone now?
Yeah.
The selfie branch?
Yeah.
I think it's just a gimmick. It's something that's entertaining fans right now, so they're running with it until it loses momentum, which should
People like it. People find it funny.
Yeah, they do.
Nah, I don't anymore.
You need a little levity.
U.S. title, I don't have a whole lot to say. Rusev smashes Sin Cara last night backstage and at ringside. He smashes Kalisto after the match. Who wins the U.S. title? Who holds on? Who wins this match at Extreme Rules?
Ruru.
Ruru's the new U.S. champion.
Bring relevance back to it.
Yeah, I'll go Rusev.
I think it has to be Rusev.
Sounds about
There's
right.
no reason for it not to be.
There's some crazy guy throwing fingers up there. What's going on?
Corbin and Dolph Ziggler were added
No DQ
as a
pre-show.
no DQ on the pre-show. I don't have a lot to say about this either. I think no doubt Baron Corbin has to win this one. He lost to him in the last pre-show. He has to win this one. What do you think? Corbin or Ziggler? No DQ on the pre-show.
No DQ. I think that's going to play in Corbin's favor.
Corbin.
All right.
Corbin.
So, that's Extreme Rules. Actually, I'll get your thoughts. What do you two both feel? I mentioned my thoughts on having Extreme Rules as a pay-per-view. Do you think it's relevant anymore? Do you think they need to have an Extreme Rules pay-per-view?
No, I never liked these gimmick pay-per-views because technically you become a slave to the calendar because these whole matches that have been built for a long virus have been built for.
So
a
you're
long,
not just talking about Extreme Rules. You're talking
I'm
about
all
having
these
to
gimmick
set pay-per-views
yeah,
every
because
month.
you become a slave to the schedule and people know what's coming. So for example, let's say your feud at SummerSlam, your feud goes in October, so you know you're getting a Hell in a Cell match. Why can't this stuff just be randomly dropped? Like if you have an Extreme Rules match, why can't an Extreme Rules match be randomly dropped? So these matches can be more important than just having it labeled as a pay-per-view. Same thing with Elimination Chamber. I don't know if they're going to throw it in again like they did last year, but that Elimination Chamber, it could be just thrown in somewhere, and it'll be way more important than just saying, oh, we have an Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. And then you don't even, like nowadays with Extreme Rules, you don't have superstars nowadays. They don't have specialty weapons. Like with Mick Foley, you know you would get a 2x4. You know you would get thumbtacks. You know you get everything. With Jeff Hardy, you know you get ladders. Steve Blackman, you know you get the kendo stick. Nowadays, you don't know. Nobody has a specialty weapon, so it has no excitement for these kind of matches.
How about you?
I
Extreme Rules specifically, and then the calendar of set pay-per-views.
Wow. Stop. I don't mind Extreme Rules. I think it's a quality pay-per-view. I do think the pay-per-views are coming up too bunched together right now, so you don't have enough time for story development. They could back off a couple pay-per-views for sure.
Extreme Rules they've all been horrible.
I agree with that. So my feeling on the calendar of pay-per-views, I think Extreme Rules is like an outdated thing because you can't really do anything all that extreme anymore. Just not going to happen. But I don't know if WWE's planning was, well, we know what we're getting ourselves into story-wise, and almost like when you're watching a football season or a baseball season or a basketball season, you have the start of the season, and then you kind of lull into mid-season. Then you get to an all-star break, and then you get the push for the playoffs. Then you have the postseason and the championship. I don't know if WWE's trying to create that for themselves, where people watching kind of know the flow of what they're doing throughout the year. But I think you're right. I think that maybe the four biggest pay-per-views, like WrestleMania is set where it is. Survivor Series set where it is. SummerSlam set where it is. Royal Rumble set where it is. And everything else should be random. It gives you more ability to be creative. Not, okay, well, now we have to do stipulation matches this month.
You're confined to the
I
of
do
pay-per-view.
think it... So probably the whole corporate thing, they have shareholders. They're a different type of company now. It probably suits them that you know exactly what we're going to do month to month. But I think it'd be more fun and they could be more creative if outside of the big four, you can kind of do what you want as you see fit over the course of the year.
Yeah.
So I guess we're in agreement on that. I just was curious because I'm not a big fan of that whole thing. That happened while I was not watching anymore.
Yeah, and like I said, I hated it from the jump. It made no sense. TNA did that, and it's not good.
I mean, we're not getting crazy Extreme Rule matches. That we're getting a Fatal 4-Way, which is a good quality match. You can fit in any pay-per-view. A silent match, okay, throw that away. That's
Because originally,
kind of jump in there. You're getting a submission match, which again you can throw into any kind of pay-per-view form.
originally when you weren't watching, Extreme Rules was called One Night Stand because it was picking up off ECW.
I've had a lot of them in my days.
I know you did.
It was called One Night Stand, and the whole every match was basically Extreme Rules. So then they changed it to Extreme Rules. They took away Backlash, which made no sense. I don't know why you took away Backlash because it was perfect because it was the Backlash of WrestleMania,
Right.
and now I'm glad they put Payback after WrestleMania this year because it makes more sense.
Same, because that actually does make sense
Yeah.
to have Payback.
Yeah, because the titles they match the show.
So before we get out of here, we'll talk a little bit about NXT. Not a crazy show. The return of Finn Balor.
It's good to see him back on TV.
It was good to see him back on TV after losing the title.
He's cutting some angry promo.
Cutting an angry promo, says the first match we had in London could have gone either way, but I won. In Dallas, could have gone either way, but I won. Then he says the third match in Lowell could have gone either way, and he gets interrupted by everyone's favorite
The
Drifter
coming
Elias
out.
Sampson.
He is
Coming out
so
singing.
bad. He is horrible.
You didn't like his music?
He's
Come
so
on, bro.
bad.
He wrote a song just for Finn. Finn hit him with the Pele kick, threw the guitar out.
That,
of the
that was
ring.
great out of nowhere. That was great.
It was great. Set up the main event for that evening. Finn obviously wins in a fairly one-sided match. I think Elias can work a little bit.
He can work.
But-
Characters is terrible.
Character's terrible.
Yeah, he needs some more reformatting there.
And I didn't mind it to begin with, but it just has gone nowhere.
Yeah, because he had actually some development, and now it's just gone nowhere.
He's just been stuck in the same spot for
Yeah.
a month and a half.
And he hasn't been even doing vignettes.
Right. Yeah, he did those few at the beginning.
Yeah.
Just him singing. So, Finn Balor, good to see him back. Good to see him get a win. After his match, Joe comes out
Yeah.
with his new title. Was this the first time he was on TV with the
No, it
new
was
title or
last
no?
week.
No, yeah, he had a match.
Last week, Eric Young,
EY.
remember?
Oh, that's right. Okay, I forgot about that. So he comes out with his title. He says Finn does not deserve another title shot. He belongs in the back of the line. I worked hard for this. And I love that Finn said, the line starts and ends with me. I am the line. And then Regal makes a match for the next takeover on June 8th, which I believe it was made official that it is a cage match.
Yep. Not an asylum match.
Not an asylum match, a
Cage
standard
match.
steel
It's a huge
cage
difference.
match.
And this, I remember last week I said about protecting the demon. This is the only way you can protect the demon. Because Finn Balor showed so much of an edge last week that you believe he's just going to go in there and try to kick Joe's ass.
Right.
So somehow, some way, Joe's going to sneak out the cage, and that's the way to protect the demon because he's not taking a pinfall loss.
Yeah. I also like that he said, anyone who knows me knows that I am obsessed with NXT and obsessed with being the
I love
NXT
that, too.
champion. He said, now I'm possessed like a demon. So sets it up beautifully.
Transitions into the...
Yes. Logical. Makes sense. I'm looking forward to this cage match. I think it'll be very fun, very entertaining. I think one of the things I love about Joe is that he comes across as so realistic. You and Samoa Joe comes across as realistically vicious, dangerous, and being in a steel cage. I think
I don't think
Oh, yeah.
I don't think Joey Rogers is pretty vicious and dangerous.
You don't
know me.
we had Bailey giving an interview, talking about her recent losing the title. Nia Jax comes out and interrupts, says, when I lost to you and I made my mistake, I got stronger. You got weaker when you lost your title. I'm assuming you may have even said last
I
week
said
they're
last
having
week.
they're having a match.
Yeah,
And did you tell me the result of that
Yeah.
match?
I don't want to know.
And is it what I think?
I think so.
Okay.
I don't want to know.
That is on next week's show.
Yeah, this week's show coming
And
up.
she said,
This
Bailey
week
said,
coming
I
up-
made you tap out once, I'll make you tap
Yes.
out again. I'll choke
There,
you
what
out.
was the other match that was?
Choke you
The tag match between.
Aries. I love how Aries buried Blake and Murph
Me too.
backstage. he said, "How rude you guys interrupted me and Mr. Regal, and you don't have the nerve to bring Alexa Bliss."
And then so no, she's here because okay, at least this is a little more bearable then. And then the face she made
I
at
know
him.
her faces are so good.
Oh, she's the best.
I love Alexa Bliss.
She had a good match last night with another newcomer.
Yeah.
Who was it? Ellering. Rachel Ellering?
Yeah, another.
I find it so
Another
funny.
legend.
Yeah.
I find it so funny when she does that choke thing. She's so much smaller than everybody
Yeah,
else. She
legacy.
just doesn't look up
Yeah.
at her.
Yeah,
And she just
crazy
pushes
eye.
them.
I thought she was. I thought she
funny.
was growing, but I was like, "Is that a move?"
And then her face,
the boob growth?
and then her face is just so
My
it's
favorite
so
band
good.
finisher.
That'll be my finisher.
She was with the sparkle splash, of course.
Yeah.
Walk
Yes.
up. No, it's a wrestling move. Trust me, hon.
Nakamura and Alex Riley. Do you think that's officially his last match in the company? He was released.
Yeah, that's his last match, and that's how Nakamura should have been booked, squashing people. Because the last two matches, first two matches he's had, they haven't been squash matches.
It looked like he got legitimately pissed in the middle of the match because Riley was kind of playing with him a little
That
bit.
was the right on the wall. You're going, A-Rod, you're going. That was right on the wall because he had to go and job.
Austin Aries came up. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention I still have not received my apology for stealing my Perfect 20 nickname. I told you every week on this show, I will demand an apology. There's only one Perfect 20 in this building, and that is me, not you, Austin
Well,
Aries.
the thing about that, Ron, is you're A and he's double A.
He could be double A all he wants. But I am the Perfect 20. I want him to retract that. And if I haven't gotten it by next Tuesday when we record,
We demand a retraction.
I'll be saying the same thing.
Mr. Aries.
So,
Cease and desist.
American Alpha with the title defense against the same jobbers who lost to the Shining Stars on Raw.
These guys had a stellar week, huh?
Skylar and Hollis, yeah, they do nothing but get squashed.
Some independent wrestlers. I don't want to talk bad about independent wrestlers. We all know what happens there, but
The Revival comes out, says we'll get those belts back on our time. So I'm assuming that's going to be a match for the next takeover.
Probably.
as well.
Nothing official yet.
it was good to see him come out too, though, and sort of challenge him, and then American Alpha laying the belts, telling him to come on and take it. You know, it was good kind of build
Yeah.
towards what is going to be inevitable another rematch.
Eric Young had a promo saying, "This is where I belong. This is where I've always wanted to be." I don't like to be down on guys, but to me, it doesn't look like it's where he belongs.
I'm not a huge EY guy. I never really
Yeah,
was.
he was just always there. Like
Yeah,
when
he was just
I was on
there.
TNA, what was he, like a nerd?
Yeah, he was. He was, yeah.
And I
Was he a nerd?
yeah, I can't remember because I know people always just talk down to him.
He
and stuff
eventually
like that.
worked his way up to like a main card status, sort of like Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, he was a world champion, right?
Yeah, for a while.
Yes, yeah, but it's
It was
like,
Daniel Bryan-esque. The fans just loved him, so he kept getting pushed up and
Okay,
up.
yeah, because I said he didn't do
You know,
anything.
I was never really,
like that.
he was never really like
He's just
huge
there.
on him. I was never huge on him.
Does he have anything coming up at the tapings or no?
No,
Okay, so we don't know what they're doing with
No.
him, if anything.
I think, like I said, I think it's one of those appearance deals like James Storm had.
Any word on Bobby Roode?
Nope.
Nothing. See, Joe and I both immediately thought that's
When he
who
was
Austin
making a
Aries
phone
was
call,
going
he's
to
going to call Bobby Roode.
Yeah.
Who are you going to call? Bobby Roode.
But you said he's calling Shinsuke Nakamura.
Yep.
And then that will lead
Does
to them eventually.
Nakamura know how to
having a
use an
match.
American
Yeah.
phone, or is that?
So Nakamura, I guess they're using him the right way. The crowd obviously eats up everything he
That
does.
was Full Sail's first time seeing him.
Yeah. And the crowd was great for that match, I thought. Great King of Strong style, chant going, like you said, squashed A-Rye.
Yeah, this is the first really aggression. Like, he showed a lot of aggression in this match. It's the first time I really saw that. I mean, I've been impressed with everything he's done in the ring so far, but I saw him really give it to A-Rye in this match. It was...
Yeah, I'm looking forward to see where they go with Nakamura going forward, because he's a guy that you can't keep out of the title picture for too long. He's right up there with Finn pretty much already.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see where it goes. I hear that this next pay-per-view is going to be him versus Aries, which would be an amazing match to watch.
The promos Aries will be great.
Yeah, so the next takeover is at Full Sail, right? And then there won't be another one till takeover
Brooklyn, probably.
Okay. So, got a lot to look forward to at NXT. Unfortunately, with NXT, most of the really good action happens on the takeover shows.
Oh, did you see that the pull apart with Balor and Joe?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, no, wait, I didn't.
There's a pull apart on a live event.
I saw a headline for it, and
Okay,
then I
yeah.
saw Finn holding the title.
Yeah.
So it was just the two of them?
It was a pull. They had to clear the locker room to bring them apart and everything.
I always like that when we get one of those.
Yeah, and I'm glad they do it at live
I haven't
event.
got a lot of those.
No.
I'm glad they do it at live events because NXT is mainly a touring brand now. They do their tapings, but those are like 4 or 5 episodes at a time. But I'm glad they do it as a touring brand. I'm glad, like Joe hated the title change.
Yes, I did.
But they're mainly a touring brand, so they have to make you want to come see these shows. That titles can change on these shows. Good things are going to happen on these shows.
I think that's good too. If that's your main attraction, because that's what people can't wait for that show to come to
Yeah.
our city. You might as well give them something really
Yeah,
good.
everywhere you go, sold out.
Yeah, people can't wait to get it, so you might as well feed the beast while you have it. It's only going to grow the promotion as a brand if you're giving people a great show and they go to see it live. So that's it for NXT. Extreme Rules on Sunday.
Woo!
We all believe Roman Reigns will be the World Heavyweight Champion
Sorry to
coming
drop
out
that
of it.
knowledge on you, bro. But
So do you project that this will be a showstopper as a pay-per-view or no?
It'll be a high slobber knocker. That's my projection.
What about you?
I'm gonna go mid-range slobber knocker.
All right, I'm going to go same thing. It'll be better than average.
Yeah, because I
I
have
think. There's good matches.
it's Extreme Rules is close to home, and I had no reason to want to go.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
go 6.5 on a scale of 10. Mid-range slobber knocker.
It's decent.
I'm going
Did we-
straight jobber.
Did we have any more listener questions? Was that everything? for
No, we have
today?
one more. We have
more?
One more question.
Yeah, we have one more question.
One more.
One.
Uno más. Uno más.
One.
Uno más.
Yeah, we have one more question
Uno
from.
más, por favor. Uno más cerveza, por favor.
We have one more question from PMS member Joey Lafferty.
Okay. What is his question?
He says Joey Ross mentioned that wrestling's always better with stables, so he wants you to build your current stable for today's wrestling with current WWE superstars: a main eventer guy, a mid card, a tag team, a women's wrestler, and a mouthpiece.
That is really difficult.
Question.
Do you want to take this one first? While
I'll take my
think?
first. Yeah. All right. My main event guy, I'll take Finn Balor. My mid card will be Baron Corbin. My tag team will be Cesaro and Sami Zayn. My women's wrestler will be Sasha Banks, and the mic piece will be Triple H. And,
Not bad.
Oh, and the name too. I'll call them the Next Gen.
The next gen.
Yeah.
I'm trying to go with Heyman as my mouthpiece, but that would leave Brock Lesnar as my main eventer, and he does not belong in a stable. I'll go Seth Rollins as my main event. I will go my mid card. Trying to think of who could be considered the future. I'll go Kevin Owens as my mid card for now, as the Intercontinental Champion, since he laid claim to that. My tag team, I think I would go with. That's tough. I'm trying to think if I want to take an actual tag team or. My women's wrestler obviously would be Sasha Banks. I think I could also take Triple H as the mouthpiece, since he and Seth have a lot of history together. And as far as a tag team, see, all the tag teams I'm thinking of are like babyface tag teams. I can see a team like the Revival being good in that, with Triple H as their mouthpiece, because that's their biggest weakness.
Okay. Still ill to them, but yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I get your point.
Don't have a lot of time to breathe on this, but I'll probably go AJ as my main eventer. I'm gonna go Enzo and Cass as my tag team.
Okay.
I think I'd like to see those guys up. What else am I missing here? My mid card. I'd probably go Finn Balor. Put him up there with AJ Styles. They teamed up in Japan a little bit.
I like it.
My female. I'm taking Charlotte.
Yeah, I thought you were
I'm
going to
taking
go
the women's
Paige.
champion. Yeah, I should go Paige. Retraction. Paige.
How you feel about that Rio?
Oh yeah, I meant to mention that. Forgot to bring up Del Rio. I was gonna refer to him as Paige's boyfriend, but I forgot.
Let's not do that. And what do I got? I need a mouthpiece.
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 Why do I need an mouthpiece? I got Enzo.
Jimmy Hart.
Yeah.
Can't argue with that.
Mouth of the South.
So thank you for the questions, Ronald the Glacier Lloyd, the Ronald the Babyface Lloyd, PMS member Joe Lafferty,
Joey Lafferty.
Joey Lafferty. I'm sorry, that was everything tonight for questions,
Yep.
right? Okay, everybody, enjoy Extreme Rules on Sunday. We will be back next week to talk about it. For Alo Aaron Lloyd, for C. Kane Joe Rottermill, I am Ron Pashery. We will talk to you next week.
Putting franchises in Delco, baby.